What's up guys, Ramsey here, back for another Red Shadow Legends video. We've got a new event starting in a few hours where you'll be able to get potentially a new Void Legendary Champion guaranteed. Of course, if you have the resources and if you decide to go for him. So we have that random Verdant deck of Fate. And if we go in-game, we can see right here that it is starting in 12 hours when I make this video. So it will be sometime in the middle of the night for me. So we'll be going over the champion, just so you know, so it's one of those where you have to flip the cards. Usually for the legendary, unless you get extremely lucky, most players will have to open most of the cards. Do keep that in mind. It's usually a lot of points, and you can get away with not flipping a few if you're lucky, but a lot of us do have to flip all the cards to get the champion usually. So how do you get the champion? You have to summon champions right here through the portal. You can also summon soul stones, and then you can farm gear. These are the three ways to get champions. Now we did have a good event a few weeks ago for the soul stone. We just came out of the summon rush, so I think a lot of us are low in resources. So we'll be going over the champion. I don't think the champion is amazing, and regardless of the champion being good or not, we are in the middle of the Fabian fusion right here. So I do suggest focusing on that, especially that a lot of the time after a fusion for such a good champion, there is some type of Titan event that do require a lot of resources to actually go and get all the red stars. And that's very important for a champion like him, especially that is so good in arena. So you do have to keep that in mind. Personally, what I'm doing with that fusion is that I'm doing the bare minimum in terms of resource spending to just get what I need to get the fusion done. And then I'm saving as much as I can for a possible Titan event or some type of event that will allow me to get the soul stones, sorry. So do keep that in mind. Do what you want with your resources, but that's what I would do if I were you. So new champion, Kawn, right here. We did make a video on all the new champions that were coming up in the game a few weeks ago, and he was one of them. His kit is clearly underwhelming. We will be going over it right now. But like I said, I would definitely focus on the fusion and not waste your resources on this guy. So on his A1, he's going to attack one enemy. Before attacking, removes one random buff from the target. This effect cannot be resisted if this champion is under a shield. Of course, we're gonna have a way to place a shield on him. Place a block revive debuff if this attack kills an enemy. Increase the value of any shield's buff on this champion by 30% of damage dealt. Cannot increase by more than 10,000. So if you do attack while you have a shield, you will be growing that shield on the A1. Plus, you can block revive if you kill somebody. So I'm assuming that hits pretty hard, but you know, it's an A1, so I wouldn't expect anything crazy either. But you know, being able to grow a shield and possibly block revive and possibly remove a random buff from the target on an A1, that's actually pretty good. That's a lot on just one A1. Now on the A2, attack all enemies. Ignore a percentage of each target's defense equal to 50% of the difference between this champion max HP and any shields on them. That's where it gets a bit confusing. I think he's the only champion that has a ignore defense calculated that way. So I'm not exactly sure the way we want to build him. Now the shield that he puts on him is right here, and it's based on this champion's defense. So from what I understand, the bigger the gap between the champion max HP, between this champion max HP and the shield on them, which is based on the defense, the more ignore defense we will have. From what I've seen so far, I've seen a few content creators testing him out, and the damage wasn't crazy from what I've seen. And I think it's going to be kind of hard to get more ignore defense. So from what I've seen, not crazy. Again, subject to change. And then also destroys each target's max HP by 20% of the damage inflicted, up to 50%. This effect will ignore any shield buff. This isn't great, honestly, other than Scarab King and Emius in the Cursed City. you know, destroying max HP is not that useful in the game right now, honestly. So I wouldn't worry about this. Now this attack could be decent, but again, kind of hard to figure out, honestly. Now on the A3, place a shield buff based on this champion's defense and a strength 10 on all enemies. And then the part that makes me crazy, completely nuts, is this. This is a Void Legendary. Back to 2019, guys, when we started the game, there were 3 counter-attack champions that were placing counter-attack on all allies, right? We had Valkyrie, we had Martyr, and the Epic, I can't remember his name. Also places a counter-attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. So why is it that in 6 years, we did not get a new champion placing counter-attack on everybody? I don't think we have. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have. And this would have been a great opportunity because the champion doesn't look crazy on paper, but if this was a counterattack on all allies, that would have made him a lot more interesting, and he's a Void Legendary, so it would have been a really good thing for the game. So anyways, that's just me ranting a little bit. I don't understand why we have a new Void Legendary and the counterattack is only on him. Well, it would be great if it was on everybody, but it is what it is. That's a good ability. But I don't like it just because of the counterattack is only on him, honestly. Then on the passive, removes a lot of champions can do something very similar. So, you know, there's nothing crazy about this ability, especially for a Void champion. On the passive, remove one random debuff from this champion at the start of their turn. Again, nothing crazy. Why? Because even though I do like that kind of passive, you know, you have champions like 2 and Arak right here that remove 1 random debuff from all allies at the start of each turn. And then you also have epic champions, just like Doom Priest, for example, that remove 1 random debuff at the start from the allies at the start of this champion turn. So they do it for everybody. And just like the counter attack that he places only on himself, he removes 1 random debuff only on himself. Which again, very, very selfish champion. At the start of every 4th turn by this champion, removes all debuff from them and place a 60% increased defense on all of them for 2 turns. Sorry, that's a bit better. Obviously, it's a cleanse and the increased defense, and then increase this champion defense by 3% for each debuff removed by the skill up to 30%. So we will have a way to increase the defense as well. And then we have a big defense aura, 33% in all battles. Honestly, guys, unless you are focusing on Siege right now and you can do a really good Orc only defense. Let's say now you do have Ash now that is not great apparently in terms of mythical, but he's about to get a buff. Apparently he's the next mythical champion getting a buff. So if he gets a good buff and you have him and you have Warlord, maybe you have the faction unity champion. I don't think he's great, but it'd still be good in an Orc only team. You know, maybe he's a good champion to have in that type of team. So maybe, you know, you can be pretty annoying and have a bunch of defense and kind of tanky champions. So, you know, up to you guys. If you can do a really good annoying defense Orc only Siege team, why not? If you have the resources for it. But for everybody else, honestly, on paper, I don't think it's worth it. And like I said, I would highly suggest saving up for Fabian, finishing the fusion, and then getting all the red stars for him. Again, for the rest, red stars, they're usually pretty costly to go. It's really costly to go get them. So I only get them for champions that are top tier in arena, or if they are amazing damage dealer. An amazing damage dealer, I think it has a lot of value. And then someone really good for arena, it has a lot of value. For champions, just to give you an example, I did do the Esme fusion and she helped me a ton in my Hydra team. I just want to show you real quick. I just posted a video showing all of my Hydra teams a couple of days ago. And I did 700 million full auto team and Esme is in my team. And I did not go for the red stars. I don't think for a champion like that, it's as valuable. Same with, I also used in the brutal team this time and I did 720 million. I actually use Mad Hatter. Same, I don't think all of the red stars for him as super valuable. But now on, Authorian, who is a damage dealer, I think that's a lot more valuable. Same for Tundra, having more stars, very, very valuable. And then for Arena Champions. So for Fabian, I will go get the red stars, and I do suggest you do the same. So do the fusion, bare minimum, and then save everything for Titan event or whatever's coming up next. And ignore this champion because it doesn't look great on paper, especially for a Void Legendary. Let me know what you think in the comments. Again, if the videos are helpful, make sure you subscribe and comment, like, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys in the next video.